Hi everyone, in this video we'll talk about the function select in dplyr package and why is it used, where it's used, and how we can use it with the chaining operator as we discussed in the previous video where we installed dplyr package. If you haven't checked out that video, the link is on the top right. Please check it out before you move to this one. With that, we dive into this video. As always, before starting anything, we clean the environment. We already have some data sets here which we don't desire. So running rm list is equal to ls will clean the environment. Now we have to import the dataset. This is the same dataset as in the prior video. I'll paste the link in the description below for you guys to practice. It's a free dataset. Feel free to use it in your RStudio itself. Now to load the dplyr package, as we discussed, we need to use the library command which loads the package into the environment. So we run the library command. We have the dplyr package run. Now let's start with the same command which we ended the last video on. We selected three columns from sales order dataset: rep, item, and units. To do that, just write sales order, chaining operator, then sales order, then select the name of the columns. So just open the select function, type the names of the columns you want to select, and it will do the task. So I just named this sales order RIU, R being for rep, I for items, and U for units. And when I run this chunk, a new data set is created, sales order RIU with rep, item, and units in the console. So this is how a basic select function works, where you just write select, brackets open, name of the columns, and those columns are selected in your output. Now, we can also use a contains operator in the select function itself. So it's like adding a function inside a function. Now, how does it work? Now, let's say I want to select columns with the name unit in it, right? So now I have columns names units, unit cost, total, item. I want to select units and unit cost both in my output. Why should I type both units comma unit dot cost to select it? It'll take me extra time. And what if there are 200 columns and I want to just check how many column names are with the name unit in it, right? So for that, what I'll do is I'll do sales order, then select I want rep, item, and then any of the columns which have the word unit in it. So it will by default select units and unit cost because both of these column names have the word unit in them. It contains units. So I'll run this and you see I have a new data set RIU UC of 4 variables, 4 being rep, item, units, and unit cost. So a contains operator just shortens your command a bit. It helps you get many columns with just one contains function inside it, and it's very useful if you don't know how many columns are there and you just want to check it out. Let's say you have a data for prices of 100 things in 100 columns and you want to check how many of those are a certain category, and the name reflects that category. So you will just use select contains this much. So all of the columns which contains the word that you're looking for will be filtered, and you'll only be focusing on those columns, right? Okay, so now we have covered a basic select operation, then the contains operator. Now what if you want to select all the columns in the data set except one? So let's say you have a sales order data set. You want to select all the columns except the order date. Order date is immaterial for you. You don't need to know what the order date is. That's just the way you want to work. So rather than typing region, rep, item, units, unit cost, and total in the select command, what you can do is you can just write sales order, then the chaining operator, and then select minus order date. You only want to subtract order date and you don't want to subtract anything else or show anything else. So once you run a subtraction command, it only removes order date from the data set and all the other columns will stay as it is. So I'll just run this, and there is a no date data frame run, and you can clearly see that the order date has been removed and you have achieved your objective in this very case. Now after doing this, what if you have a list of columns that you want to extract and you don't want to type that list in the select function? So let's say you have a list of columns like this: region, rep, total, right? You want to extract these three columns from this data set or some other data set or some different data set. Will you write these three columns again and again in every select command? No, there is a way to bypass that. Now the way to bypass that is by using one off function. So like one off, one underscore of operator. What you can do is you can first store this list in a variable called columns, or you can name it whatever you like. And then in sales order dataset you can run sales order chaining select one of columns. That means if these are present in your dataset, extract them. If all of them are present, bring all. If one of them is present, bring one. That's all it means. So once I run this, I'll get a new data set of columns, and I'll get those exact three columns which I requested in the variable columns: region, rep, and total. So this actually works if you have a list already present, you don't want to type it out, you don't want to change the list, or if you want to apply the same list to multiple data sets, you can just use one-off operator in each of the select commands that you're using for each of the data sets. So now in this video, we have seen a simple select command, a command with contains, a command with subtraction of columns, and a command with one-off with a variable list that is already present with you. So whichever feature suits you best, feel free to use it. Select feature is very powerful and will be used a lot in the upcoming videos as well, along with features like filter, mutate, etc., etc. We'll move ahead slowly to make sure that all of the functions in the dplyr package are being understood clearly, and we can apply them in our projects moving ahead as well. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.